Hello everyone, I hope you're doing well. Today I would like to talk to you about something classical and vintage. In this channel I will be mostly covering artisanal fragrances, but I'll also share some love for vintage stuff, and from time to time I would like to switch things a little bit up. Today we are talking about vintage Antaeus. This bottle is not extremely vintage. As you can see by the silver sprayer, it's around 2000s, early 2000s, maybe 2000, 2001, something like that. There is a lot of things to say about this fragrance. A lot of things has already been said about this fragrance, so I will probably won't break any new grounds here. I will just tell you few details, few things I have not heard from other reviewers by now, and I think they are quite important. And to be completely clear, I'm talking about this 2001 version of Antaeus. I have not smelled newer iterations, nor I have ever smelled the original or close to the original release. Before talking about this fragrance, I will do maybe some small tangent. I believe that the reason why I am more into artisanal or niche, over niche, or vintage over modern designers, or niche, because I believe the quality of materials has dropped significantly. Mainly because nowadays a lot of things that were natural before in today's world are synthetic, because it's easier to reproduce, cheaper to buy. In some cases, big oil company houses like Givaudan and others force companies basically to buy their synthetic replacement for the natural thing. The force word is maybe too strong, I say. Incentivize. For example, in some cases perfumers are rewarded financially by the oil house they are working for using one material or other. Therefore, when a brand orders a scent, perfumer that works for said oil company has more incentive to use home-made synthetic alternative over natural thing, or over, for example, other oil company made alternative for the same material. Why do I go into this seemingly unrelated tangent here? Well, because while smelling this vintage Antaeus, I even maybe do a spray. Nice sprayer for a designer for sure. I smell some ingredients that will never be found in any modern fragrance ever again. Main ingredient here that I will probably never smell in modern niche or designer for that matter is castoreum. Castoreum here is so natural, so insanely natural and present, that I even have my Civet de Nuit by Riche Ladoria with me, that features civet and natural castoreum. and it's the same castoreum. I mean, it's not, of course, it's not the same, the production of this fragrance compared to this fragrance, but I mean, it's just natural castoreum. In this 2000s designer fragrance that was worldwide available by probably millions of bottles around the world, back then, not so long time ago, 25 years ago, they managed to use real castoreum. That's never gonna happen again. And it's not even only castoreum. I can smell other naturals here. Not so maybe surprising, you can clary sage, patchouli. I strongly believe here they still have real oak moss, good amount of it. I don't know if you know, but Ifra has banned oak moss basically in perfumery by now. They did some sketch test. They poured oak moss on people's skin, put on some fabric, hold it for 4 days, take it off, and oh my god, there's a rash. You know, I read that study not very deeply because I found it ridiculous from the start. You basically can put anything on your skin, or maybe even nothing on your skin, and wrap some fabric around, and in 4 days some people will have a rash from sweat or lack of light or whatever. So yeah, I find this research pretty ridiculous. Nonetheless, oak moss is banned. So yeah, this still has oak moss, this has natural castoreum, some floral notes, patchouli, and the base you get labdanum, whatever. My channel is never about listing the notes. Main idea, some time ago this was considered masculine, and to some extent Chanel is not in the business of creating niche fragrances, so it was considered mass appealing. By today's standards, this is for sure not mass appealing compared to the Bleu de Chanel exclusive elixir, whatever they are doing now. And it's Bleu de Chanel's excellent everyday fragrance. I have Eau de Parfum version myself. I wear it to the office. Please don't take this as a slander of Chanel, Bleu de Chanel. It's excellent basic fragrance. But what this was, and maybe still is, I don't know, I have not smelled modern version, I have no need for that. It represents to me time of the past. You can say good old days that are never to be repeated. When I talk about the quality of this scent, to make you completely understand, we have castoreum that is as natural as in Riche Ladores Civet de Nuit. I would compare this basically to quality of most Roche d'Oeuvre fragrances. And you know how much these cost today? They're immensely expensive. They're good quality. I had one review of Haute Luxe collection Roja by Roja, and it, for me personally, has a little bit similarities to that exact fragrance. They are not too huge, but they share some notes like labdanum, castoreum, patchouli, oak moss, you know, jasmine, rose, all that jazz. So I find some similarities, but maybe not enough to bring the bottle here. My point is, for me personally, the situation in today's niche, and that's why I have some niche bottles from some time ago, and maybe some reviews will be coming in the far future. But today's situation in fragrance world does not intrigue me. I barely wait for any new releases. I can't even think of one that I would be waiting now from regular niche or designers, because the quality that it is here is left in the past or in artisanal perfumery. So most of us who are not so much interested in the panty droppers and beast mode fragrances, or I don't know, mass appealing, most cheap, whatever, top 10 how to get laid content, we have basically two paths. We can go vintage or we can go artisanal. And basically maybe that's good finishing point for this video. I would like to maybe describe the path this channel is going to take, and it's already been taking. I will be talking mostly about artisanal and vintage. Some niche indie maybe be here and there. I have few old brands that I used to collect and I still enjoy them. For example, some vintage creeds, so maybe some vintage creed reviews happen in the future, but biggest majority of the content here will be vintage and artisanal. So if that kind of content interests you and you find me somewhat interesting, please subscribe, like, comment. I'm happy to see new faces. And yeah, please have a good evening and goodbye.